So we're gonna try to segue all those things into that regarding
In
the
school, they knew what fraternities you were in. I mean,
Definitely wasn't an easy decision. I sat down with my dad.
Welcome to another episode of I Am the Change podcast, brought to you by DTR Incorporated, a nonprofit organization geared toward uplifting, inspiring, and empowering communities all over the world. I'm your host, Michael Davis, alongside the lovely Ms. Sharice Lovett and Mr. Jason Redmond. What's going on?
What's going on today?
Not too much, man. I can't call it.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Waiting for this. Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Waiting for that Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
How y'all doing though?
Hey, I'm good, man. I can't complain. So, it is what it is. I went since the Super Bowl Sunday, man, I went and got one of my buddies that's a coach, passing game coordinator, defensive back coach at Bethune Cookman, Darrin Hayes. So I'm gonna tell the story. So when we had Coach Sims on last week, Hayes was like, "Dog, what happened to me getting on the podcast?" And I said, "Never asked you." So he was like, "Man, you gotta put me on." I'm like, "All right, I'll put him on." So this is my guy, man. We all this is the infamous Hayes, infamous D Hayes. We all players together. Me, Terry, Lewis, Stan, Rockwell, Willie Guines, Kevin Carroll, Bartow, rest in peace, Kelbo, the whole rocking cabana of us. Hayes actually works at Bethune Cookman with Coach Sims, and we all play football together. So the biggest thing about Darren is when we first met, he didn't like me. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. He didn't like me. My dad was our football coach, and so he didn't too much care for me. He thought I was gonna be the entitled coach's son. And then So
did he not understand
no.
that the coach's child is the one who's treated the worst?
Well, he told a story about a guy who played for his dad in high school, and he got that good treatment. I did not get that good treatment.
When I coached my boys, they didn't either.
Okay, well, shame on you.
Why?
Hey man, shoot, it's tough being a coach's son. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm gonna let Coach Hayes, the infamous D Hayes, introduce himself. Tell us a little about him. Kind of go from there. Give us these little one-liners he's gonna give us. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. How you guys doing today?
We're good. How are you?
Blessed.
Good.
It's a pleasure being here. Get an opportunity to talk to some good people about some good things. So me and Jason, like I said, we began our journey over 3 years ago. And you're right, I didn't like him. I thought he was gonna be like coach's son type dude that just was privy, because I had a guy that was a coach's son in high school, and he was good and terrible. But the coach, kept putting him up there, and and it was just wasn't a good situation. So, when I met Jason, I just didn't like him from the jump without even talking to him. But anybody that realizes if you have a conversation with Jason, you're gonna have to like, because he's a really nice dude, and he's a funny dude without being funny. He's one of those guys that has a sense of humor, but it's like an off brand humor. It's not like I'm going to tell a joke. He's just corny, and he's just funny because of that.
Yo, I'm really far from corny, but go ahead, man. I'm looking at it. Go ahead. My guy, though. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt. My bus.
But he's a great guy, man. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. That automatically know I'm going for the Bengals in the Super Bowl. So if there was any doubt of who I'm going to go for, then you got to understand I'm always going to represent Ohio. Okay, whether it's the Ohio State University, or whether it's the Cleveland Browns, or whether it's the Bengals, Cavs, whatever, the Indians, I'm representing Ohio always.
So you're the opposite of Coach Sims, because he said he's not representing the Falcons just because he's from Georgia.
That's it. I mean, a lot of people are like that. They don't represent their home. I mean, a lot of people down here from Florida who don't represent their home team. People that's from Miami don't like Miami. People that's from Tampa don't like the Bucks. But I'm not like that. I'm loyal. I grew up in Ohio. I was a loyal Browns fan. The Browns can't be in it, unfortunately. They disappointed us again for the year, but that's okay. We're still gonna represent Ohio.
First thing first is not unfortunate. They just weren't good enough to make it. Call it what it is.
Well, yeah, that part.
Yeah.
So, we should have got we should have got Joe Burrow instead of Baker Mayfield, but that's a whole other story. So,
bro, hey man, yeah, hey man. So look, tell me about your. I know you're coaching. I know where you started coaching at, but tell the people, man, like how did you get started coaching and why did you go in? Because you had another job when you first came out of college. You didn't come out of college and go straight into coaching.
I had a professor in college, and Jason knows the professor, Miss Gillespie, great woman, taught me a lot, really helped me graduate. My last year of college, right? I had one more class to graduate. And I'm not sure if any of you guys ever know about back in the day, HBCUs. If you had one more class to graduate, that's your ass until next year. They didn't have if it wasn't offered in the next semester, then you just had to wait till the whole year until it's offered again. Right. So I went to the professor myself and I asked her, I said, look, I already have a job. This semester, I can't wait another year. I need to have my degree before I start my profession. She agreed to teach the class. Now, with just me and her, so this is before online classes, this is before all that type of stuff. She agreed to teach the class with just me and her in the class, and I never, ever, ever would forget that sacrifice that she did. And she taught the class like it was 30 people, and I had to raise my hand and everything. I'm like, you do realize that I'm the only one in here. What the heck am I raising my hand for? So she did that. So she told me, she said, find something you enjoy doing, something that you'll do for free and figure out a way to make money. Once you find what that is, you find your passion in life. And once you find your passion, guess what? You'll never work a day in your life. And that never, ever, it stuck with me my entire life. It's something that I've brought with me everywhere I've been. And I've talked to all the young men that I've had a blessing to be a part of their lives. Mm-hmm. So once you find your passion, what you love to do and what you do for free, you got to figure out a way to make money doing what you love to do. Case in point, how I got into coaching. So when I first finished college, I was started working in the social field, case management, Department of Human Services. Then I worked with a private firm that was a vendor for the Department of Human Services in the state of Tennessee. At the same time I was doing that, and I love working with kids and I love working with families and things like that. And that was a part of my passion, was helping young people, but it wasn't my passion. Football has always been my passion. Mm-hmm. So I volunteered at a local school, just doing it for free. And then I parlayed that into a little semi-pro job where you're doing everything for free. You're not getting any money to do semi-pro, and you're driving your own vehicles and you're doing all this other type of stuff. So I was able to do that and then do a semi-pro job as well and gain some of that experience that I needed. And when I was coaching semi-pro, all the guys used to tell me, hey, Coach, man, you're so much better than this, man. You should be doing something else, man. You can coach anywhere, man. You're a great guy and you have a lot of energy and passion. You know your game. I'm like, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to get my foot in that door. I had an opportunity to volunteer at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga for a year, and that was good. But once again, I wasn't getting paid. It was okay though, because like I said, I had something that I enjoyed doing. I had something to pay the bills, which was doing the casework. Mm-hmm. But I also had something that I was doing and I loved doing, which was coaching football. Was it semi-pro, was it at UT Chat, whatever I was doing, I enjoyed it. But I wasn't getting paid no money for it. I couldn't make a living off of it. But that didn't stop me from doing it. Because I just remember what Miss Gillespie told me, hey, find something you do. And I just had to figure out a way to make money doing what I love to do, and I had an opportunity one day to really branch out and get an opportunity. And the crazy thing about it is Coach Sims called me one day. I was working 2 jobs. I had one job with the case manager job, actually 3 jobs. I had a semi-pro job, and then I worked at nighttime at a convenience store, 11 to 7 shift. So I had 3 jobs that I was doing. And I was sitting there one night, and I was so doggone frustrated that, man, I really want to do coaching full time. I mean, this is, what I got to do. And I was so distraught that now the store was 24 hours, but I was so distraught thinking about it that I was just kind of felt really bummed out about it. I put a sign on the door, closed, and shut the 24-hour store down, just because I was just so distraught about the whole thing. I felt like I broke down and crying, like in tears. I was like, man, they can't see me like this. I got to close this store down. So I put a sign on the door. I cut the lights off, and I sat there, man, just thinking about it. And I started praying. I said, look, I can't be mad. I can't be doing. Let me put all my honor and praise and put my focus in the way it should be, and that's the Lord. So I started praying, Lord, just just give me an opportunity. Just show me. Just give me a sign. Help me. Just whatever those. I don't know what the words were, but whatever the words were at the time, And I promise you, it wasn't an hour after that I got a phone call. And the funny thing about it was Coach Sims, the guy that was on from last week. He said, "Hey, I have it's a bruh, one of our fraternity brothers, who's a head coach at a small school in Tennessee. He's looking for a defensive back coach. Are you interested?" Am I interested? And then I had to put the phone down like, "Lord, man, you funny, man. You like, you might not be there when you want it, but he's right on time."
But he's on time.
He's right on time. Next.
Yeah. Yes,
Next.
Like, man, won't he do it?
Yes, sir.
Am I interested? Man, I'm about to leave this store right now. But I was like, no, I just can't do that. I said, let me wait at least until the morning. And he gave me the number. So I called him. He said, when can you be in Tennessee? At that time, I was living in Chattanooga. No, actually, I left Chattanooga. I was living in Georgia at the time. And he asked me, he said, when can I be here in Tennessee? I was like, when do you need me? He said, can you be here tomorrow by 10 a.m.? Now, at the time, I didn't realize that it was like an 8-hour drive. But I told him, yes, I could. And then after I said I could, I hung up the phone and realized, oh, how I'm going to get there? 8-hour drive. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to get it done. So I just told the people at the convenience store that, hey, I'm not gonna be here anymore. So y'all can take these keys. Come get these keys now, because I'm about. I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Yeah, it's a 2 week notice. I ain't gonna be here in 2 weeks.
2 week notice didn't exist
in 2 weeks. And then I told people in the social field, because they were good. They worked with me. I told them, hey, look. I'm probably going to be working something else. And at the time, I hadn't been hired. I just told them that. I reached out on faith. I packed my vehicle up at a Toyota 4Runner, packed it up all the way to the hill with all my clothes. I wasn't hired. I was going for an interview. But I had faith that God brought me this far. You know what I'm saying? Like, that I knew in my mind that I was going to get the job. So I loaded up my car, I put a suit on, and I drove all night to get there, just so I could be there for that early that morning. So I could be there early that morning for the interview. I came in for the interview, and I met his my fraternity brother, but that don't really mean nothing when you try to hire a coach, because you want to make sure you can do the job.
Right.
So I'm coming in prepared for all my questions, and I'm very nervous, but I prayed, and I realized, God, he brought me here. So I know you didn't bring me here. You didn't bring me this far for me to fail. So I felt confident in what I was going to do. And the crazy thing about it, I just told some coaches about this yesterday. He didn't ask me a single question about football. He was just, because he just got the head coaching job in Atlanta. I end up helping him move into his apartment. So I got a tie and suit on. I'm helping him move. I'm carrying TVs. I'm helping him carry sofa into the apartment. And at this, I'm like, dude, are you going to interview me? In my head? But I realized that was the interview. Was I willing to help? I guess I have no idea, because he never asked me a question. And I realized that, like, man, that was like, wow. And then after all that, once I helped him move in, he said, hey, look, we got a place on campus where you can stay. Because I had no place to stay or nothing. I was going to sleep in my truck with all my clothes. He said, hey, man, we got a place on campus you can stay. You can stay there right there, and we'll work everything out. He said, I will draw up a contract. Like I said, we ain't said anything about football. He ain't know if I knew anything. I just knew that I need to be there, and I knew that God will make a way for me. And he did. You know what I'm saying? And that began my journey. That's 26 years now.
Wow.
How long were you there?
I was there for 5 years. I was there the first year as a DB coach. The next year I got promoted to the defense coordinator. I was there 2 years as a D coordinator. And then the head coach ended up leaving. And then I ended up becoming a head coach there myself. So I was the head coach there. And so I was there for 5 years, came in as a DB coach and left there as a head coach, So I was a head coach there, And then I ended up leaving there, and I ended up going to Tuskegee, and then, just everything's been just so blessed. I was the defense coordinator at Jackson State. I was at Mississippi Valley. I was at a lot of different places. And now I'm here at Bethune Cookman University in the world's most famous beach, Daytona Beach, Florida.
So as working under Coach Sims, because he told us that you've been almost fired a couple times.
Who told you that?
How is it working under him?
I mean, it's great. You know, one thing about Coach Sims, he's the type of dude that lets you do your job. I've worked with micromanagers before. I worked with presidents. I worked with athletic directors. I've worked with head coaches who are micromanagers who are always looking over your shoulder. And to me, why hire somebody to do the job and don't let them do the doggone job? To me, just do the job yourself. And I that's the type of coach I was as a head coach and as a coordinator. If I hire you, I expect you to do the job. I don't have to look over you to see if the job is done. I just expect the results. I don't care nothing about how you got the results. I just want the results. I don't, you know, I don't have to look at, okay, you did this, and this, because that's not, to me, that's not what men do, or, you know, or adults do in terms of letting you work and letting you do your thing, you know. So that's the type of guy that Coach Sims is. He's a non-micromanager. He just expects you to do your job, and that's it. You know, and he's such a great person because he allows you to have family life, have a quality of life. Some people in this field are grinders. They want you in that office 24 hours, 7 days a week, and they don't care about nothing. He's not like that. And I've worked some places where it was a grind, and you weren't happy coming to work. Not because you didn't mind working long and hard. It's just that some of it was just unnecessary. Like I believe in working efficient, and that's what he does. You could work efficient and get the job done in 3 hours that normally take you 10 hours. If you can do it in 3, then do it in 3. Then you can use the other time for something else. So he has always been that type of guy. He believes in being efficient. He believes he's a person that lets you do your thing. He's not a micromanager, and he just, you know, he's a great guy to work for. And I'm not just saying that because he's, you know, we players together. I'm saying that because he's a great guy to work for, you know. Right. And like I said, I work for a lot of different guys, and he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Would you say it means a little bit more to you working under him, since y'all got that history and he was also the one to put you in that position to get your first coaching job?
I think it does, because I'm a guy that I believe in loyalty, and I believe when you hire coaches, you got to hire people that's going to be loyal. You know what I'm saying? And loyalty is something you just can't buy. You just can't get that. You know, and one thing you can get is a short stint for a head coach if you get somebody that's a double agent. I've been a head coach before, and I know what it's like to have somebody that does not have your best interest. You know what I'm saying? Someone that's a double agent. They smile in your face at this time that you're trying to take your place. Them backstab. I had to take you back to the 70s. If you ain't know,
I was ready to start singing.
You're rocking the OJs, ain't you? Okay.
You know. So, but when you got somebody that you can trust, genuinely trust, to me, that's the world. That's the world of difference. And I have that. He has that with me, because he know without a question of doubt, I got his back. You know, when I look at the program, I don't look at the program like his program. I look at it as extension of him as a person. And I'm never going to do anything to hurt him or hurt the program. But I've always been like that to anybody I work for. I'm 100% loyal. But it's always special when there's somebody that you know has your back the same way you got their back. You know what I mean? Because I've been loyal to head coaches that might not have been as loyal to me. You know what I'm saying? But that didn't stop me from being loyal to them. You know what I mean? But when you with somebody that you know got your back the same way, it makes it even more special.
Yeah. Doc, tell me about the ring, the big championship ring you sporting.
I got about 10 of these, champ. You talking about this one? Yeah, I got about 10 of these rings right here, baby.
So like,
I've been blessed, man. Blessed beyond measure. I've got one from the SIAC. I've got several from the SWAC. I've got a ring from the MEAC. So, but this one here is from when I was a defensive coordinator at Jackson State. I was at Jackson State for almost 10 years. The last time they won a championship before Deion got there, that was us. We won a lot of championships there before Deion got there, and we packed the stands just like Deion did. We got a lot of transfers just like Deion's doing. I'm just letting y'all know that's not new. That's something that we did 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? The stands were packed. We had a lot of transfers, and we won championships. So, you know.
So how do you compare? So I love the football game. I just love the energy when it comes to the bands and everything. So how do you compare the sonic boom to Bethune Cookman? and just the energy in the stadium.
Right. First of all, the Marching Wildcats. Let's get that straight. First of all, it's the Marching Wildcat, the world famous Marching Wildcats. Now, have you seen Marching Orders on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you've seen Marching Orders, right?
Yes.
So Bethune Cookman's band has had its own series, which is great.
Indeed.
And I honestly say, without question, the bands in the SWAC are hands down better than any conferences in the world. All right. So if you are a band, and before Bethune and FAMU joined the SWAC, where we're in the MEAC, I was looking at the MEAC like, I can't believe they even put these people on the field. Like, is this a band or this is like a choir? I'm not trying to figure out. I'm talking about other schools within the MEAC, like the Delaware States and the not the Savannah States or like Norfolk's, and bands are just not good. Morgan State, they're just not good to me. And the only band that I thought that had the numbers and the showmanship and the sound to compete with the SWAC bands was Bethune Cookman, FAMU, and South Carolina State. That's it. No one else couldn't even come close.
I'm gonna agree with that. I'm a MEAC school, so I'm gonna agree with that.
Yeah. So the SWAC bands.
You gonna go against North Carolina Central, Sharice?
What? No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I was in school, the band was literally like double that size. I look at them now and they're like a pep band.
That part.
Yeah, they do. I love my school. I'm a diehard Eagle, but I mean, facts are facts.
Yeah. I've never been a big.
They just can't compare because you look at the SWAC school.
Well, I marched in high school, so I understand. I was in a drum line in high school, so I get it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I never saw the band. I didn't know nothing about it. Sorry.
So, you look at some of the bands that got some of the nicknames. You talking about the Human Jukebox, that's Southern. The Sound of Boom on the South, that's Jackson State. The Ocean of Soul, that's Texas Southern. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everyone that has a great nickname, it's just something about it that you just can't. The
Marching Wildcats. Don't forget them. The Marching Wildcats.
Can't forget the Marching Wildcats, baby.
They had their own series on that.
Now their nickname is the Pride.
The Pride.
Pride, baby. Marching Wildcats.
Yeah. Okay. So, dog, tell me. So, what? Now, I do know this next answer, but I'm gonna say it. So, when you were at, you coached a semi-pro team, y'all won a championship, right?
We did.
Tell me about like those guys that you coached were guys that played. Some played at Knoxville College, some played at Tennessee. They played all over. Carson Newman played all over. How was it coaching that the tiers of talent, like from the SEC to the I don't know what conference Carson Newman's in, but the different tiers of talent of athletes?
And did anyone go pro? I'm a piggyback that question. Answer his question first. But did anyone go pro?
No.
Okay.
Semi-pro is generally it's hit and miss. Sometimes you can have a group of guys, and sometimes you can have a really bad group of guys. You have some guys that's beyond their time that still think they got it, and you can have some guys that actually have it. I was blessed to be with a group of young men that were still young and still could have still played, at that level, and they were really good. So the mixture of the talent was great, in my opinion, because you were able to get guys from different venues, but they all had the same goal, same passion, and they were able to understand and get the concept of what we wanted to do, what we had to do. And we won the championship with those guys. And those guys played their butt off. It's just that those guys had other full-time jobs. So you're looking at all these guys, and one guy's a plumber, the other guy's an electrician, the other guy, doing whatever, works full-time at the furniture store. I mean, everybody had a full-time job, and they did this. So, it just that desire to still do it amazed me, that somebody would come out here and risk their life because they love this game so much, and having a full-time job to be able to take care of your family. To me, it was just amazing to see some of those guys out there do that, But to ask your question, would they go? No. Generally, if you have a window, a very, very, very small window to go to pro. I've put over 25, 30 guys in the NFL that played for me. That window is very small. And it generally happens within your first year or two. Usually happen within your first year. If you can't get to the league after your first year or your last year of playing, then it's gonna be a long shot. You get very, very fortunate, like a Kurt Warner, who just blessed beyond measure to get an opportunity to play in the league. But that don't happen very often. You don't get a lot of Kurt Warners. You get guys that if they're not within that small little window, if COVID hurt a lot of guys. We probably had about 2 or 3 guys could have played in the NFL, but when COVID hit, that hurt them because they didn't get a chance to run for the scouts. They didn't get a chance to have a pro day. They didn't get a chance to get recognized. That window closed, and a lot of those guys didn't get the opportunity.
Okay.
So.
Hey man,
so how did they? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, because I don't understand I'm gonna just be honest, like the backside of when it comes to scouting and recruiting for the NFL. So how did they still maintain their scout reports and getting people into the NFL during COVID?
COVID was rough. I think they didn't really take a lot of chances on guys. Guys who like that guy at the HBCU who would have tested off the roof. They look good on film, but you got to bring guys in. And then during COVID, you couldn't bring anybody in.
Gotcha.
It's guys that went to the NFL right now because they tested well, meaning that this is what I mean by tested well. So NFL scouts go and they watch film. When they watch film at different levels, they can't evaluate the same talent the same way. So a grade that they might get if you at Alabama is not the same grade you're gonna get if you at Bethune. It's just not gonna happen.
Right.
So that guy that's at Bethune has got to go the extra mile. So that guy has, when he have his pro day, he has to run well, he has to lift well, he has to test well. That brings his numbers up, and that gives another eye. Like, okay, now I want to maybe put this guy in maybe one of these all-star games to see if he can compete against the top level. Now, so he goes to the Senior Bowl, or he goes to another bowl, or he goes to the All-American Bowl, and now he's competing against the guys from Alabama and Tennessee, and he's whooping it behind. And you're like, oh, okay. He can do this.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have that year. That's all.
Gotcha. Okay.
Guys who they recruited were like, I can't miss, even though you still can miss. You guy that was everything at Alabama. I'm just going to stick with this guy and not really worry about the other guy. But you still can miss because.
So you're looking at the big schools like your Clemsons and all that stuff.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
With all the numbers and the accolades, and you still do all that and still miss. You know what I'm saying? You look at a lot of these rosters. These rosters are filled out with guys from schools that most guys ain't never even heard of. You're like, Bemidji State, what the hell is that? Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that's how it goes. You fill you have your stars, but you got to fill your roster out with guys who you don't have to pay a lot, but can still play at the NFL level.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's basically how it is. They're not going to tell you that, but that's how it is. So
do you feel like the COVID hurt a lot of these HBCU athletes?
Absolutely, definitely. Now this year's recovery, you see a little bit more, but COVID definitely hurt our guys. Because I know I had 2 guys from Bethune that came out in 2019 that I knew could have played in the NFL, but they didn't get the opportunity because they just didn't get to look. You know.
Gotcha.
They were just as good as guys that either played or still in the league, huh?
How did COVID affect the college recruiting?
It killed us. It killed us to the point to where our team, this past year, 2021 was our season. We were terrible this year. And the reason why we were really bad, because we missed the whole year recruiting. We missed the whole year recruiting because we couldn't physically go out anywhere. They shut the school down and they furloughed the entire athletic department and they shut everything. Everything was shut down. So you couldn't recruit. You had to basically stick what you had. And now everything was lifted. Now you coming back to your programs, and you come in a month before your first game against a Division 1A program. Now go out there and play. It's a lose-lose. It's tough. You get guys we haven't lifted weights in a year and they look like it. You know, you get guys that have not played together. You get a lot of freshmen that's never played, and you go out there and you're going to suffer from it. So we're still we're recovering from that, from the end of the season to now, and now we're in this full swing because football at the college level never stops.
It's a year-round sport.
Is year round. So you transition from one section to another. So after the season, you go into off-season condition. That's what we're doing now. We get up at 4 a.m. Our guys are out there at 5:30. They lifting weights. They're running on the beach. They're working out, doing things like that. Those things you miss during the COVID time because you weren't able to do those things. Then you go into spring practice where you have a spring and you could be doing your evaluations and you do your things like that and find out who can play and who can't play and who still needs some development. And then you get an opportunity to recruit again because you have another recruiting cycle, which call it May spring recruiting, where you identify guys for next year and you're able to pick up some guys that you might have missed or some guys that might be somewhere that may want to transfer. And then it just goes on. Then you guys come to summer school, like in this level, college football, it never stops. It's a cycle. So guys will go home for a little while, but they got to come right back because you got to start your summer school. And then summer school goes to your fall camp, and then fall camp, and the circle just starts over and over again.
Well, I'm excited because like I told Coach Sims, I'll be at a game this year. I just moved to Florida, so I'm excited.
What part?
I'm in Bradenton.
Bradenton. Okay, that's on the West Coast, over there near Tampa, right?
Yes.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yep.
Well, definitely let us know. We'll take care of you. Put you on the ticket list.
I tell you, man. I told you them jokers are like they like the mayor and lieutenant governor. And
I'm excited because I sent him my address so he could send me some paraphernalia. When I come to the game, I'm good to go.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll take care of you.
He's the big whistle, as Hayes calls him.
Yeah, he's the big whistle. I got the little whistle.
So Doug, 26 years in the game, defensive passing game coordinator at Bethune Cookman. Like, what's next for Darrin Hayes?
I'll probably get a head coaching job. That's anybody's goal is to be a head coach. I mean, not everybody's like that, but it's my goal. I've been a head coach before, and I would like to be a head coach again. I think anytime you are a head coach, you're a coordinator, you're a position coach. For me, any coach that ever worked with me or worked for me, my goal was to make sure that my tree is intact. So when those guys branch out, those guys are doing great things, and I want to prepare them to be head coaches. So I tell guys, don't dress the part of what you want to be, what you are. Dress the part of what you want to be. If you want to be a head coach, you start thinking, acting, and dressing and sounding like a head coach in everything that you do. So when an opportunity presents itself, you're ready. So my goal is to be a head coach again, and just to not, just to be a part of the head coaching spectrum. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Do you have an area or a part of the country that like you favor more than others? Just
that I recruit?
Well, that as far as coaching. So like, would you coach anywhere or would you,
I mean, it just depends on the position, the location. Like for me, I would take a head coaching job on a place that's committed to winning. The location is not as important as the commitment of the president, of the athletic director, of the people that raise the money. If they're committed to winning, then that to me is a good job. Some jobs are not good jobs. Some jobs I just want to take a job just to say I'm a head coach. I could have did that many times since I've been here. Took a job just to be like, hey, I'm a head coach. No, it doesn't work like that for me. It's got to be the right situation. It's got to be a situation where you got 100% backing from your administration, because that's important. Because I've been in a place as a head coach where we didn't have the backing from our administration. It was rough for us. It's tough. It's tough to win. It's tough to be successful when you don't have the full financial and the full endorsement of your president and of your athletic director and of your program.
Dig it.
Gotcha.
Dig it. So, I'm gonna ask this question. I think I know the answer to it. I'm gonna ask it anyway. So, we all went to Knoxville College. When Knoxville College gets their accreditation back, which is gonna come soon, the athletic program starts back up. Would you run to be that head coach?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You doggone skip it. I come on alma mater and we'll be a powerhouse. We'll blow teams out.
Yeah. First year, right? First year in the game.
First year.
I got you. I think,
but anybody got the opportunity to coach at the alma mater, you gotta, if it's a good situation. Now, once again, it's still got to be a good situation. It got to be financially, not just lucrative for yourself, but financially good for your program. Like you have the allotment of scholarships you need. You can be able to pay your coaches. You'll be able to get the equipment and things you need in order to be successful. You just don't want to take a head coach, like I said, just to be taking it. It's got to be substantially good and going and moving in a great direction in order for you to be successful.
Right.
If not, then you're just gonna be somewhere just getting your head kicked in.
So man, I remember when you was at Lane, and I know this answer, but I remember when you was at Lane, you had to work. When you worked at Lane, you had to work other jobs at Lane while you were the head coach.
Absolutely.
Was that grind to you? Was that worth it to be the head coach at that position?
Absolutely. Let me tell you what it did for me.
Mm-hmm.
It made me a person that don't mind doing what the heck I gotta do to get it done. See, you get some people that's been at certain programs, they've never done anything. And they always complaining. And I've been at places when I've been Division I head coach, I've been Division I coach for a long time. And I've been guys who come from other Division I programs, but they come from other programs where they've never done anything. So all they do is complain. They complain about the size of the car, their rental car that they're not paying for. You know what I'm saying? I want a bigger, I mean, what in the hell are you talking about? I was at a place I had to drive my own doggone car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What other jobs did you have to do?
He was a tennis coach.
Well, no, I did everything. So when you're at a smaller school, you're going to have to do a lot of things. So I was the head football coach. I was also the men's and women's head tennis coach. I taught classes. In the summertime, we grabbed the walkie-talkie and walked around with security. We had to cut the grass. I had to line my own field. I was my own equipment manager. I had to wash my own clothes. I had to order my own equipment. I had to manage, go down and organize my own equipment room. But what I said, and I promise you, I would not have changed that for the absolute world, because it made me a better coach. It made me a guy that don't bitch and complain. It made me a guy that's willing to roll my sleeves up and go to work.
But you also understood what those positions entailed and what, at a bigger school, what they had to do also.
So when you get to a bigger school, you got 1,000 people to do all that type of stuff. Like I never even seen the guy that does the field. I just know that we go out there, the field is done. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but you can appreciate the fact that there's somebody else doing that job.
Oh yeah, it definitely at this point make you appreciate it. Doing that there's someone that does those things, and that you have a complement of things. You don't have to tape your own ankles. You don't have to wash your own uniforms. That there are a lot of people, a lot of cogs to the wheel that make the program go. And me, I'm such an appreciative guy. I'm like the guy, like I went down to the training room and just gave guys gift cards because, man, I appreciate y'all. If nobody ever told you that they didn't appreciate you, I appreciate you. And like, hey man, where that come from? I'm like, man, because I know what it's like not to have no trainers. You know what I'm saying? When you tape your own ankles and you praying nobody don't get hurt. And now you got an entire training staff, you know?
No first responders. Yeah. So
I'm convinced.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, see, I'm convinced that there's something in the water at Knoxville College because so many great people coming out of there. But I just want to know, like, what role did Knoxville play in you developing the mindset you have, like, pushed through everything you've been through, like you said, washing your own clothes, working 3 jobs before you even became a coach, doing the semi-pro stuff, like.
It's adversity. Like a lot of young people, a lot of old people have never had adversity. When adversity hits, you don't know what to do. You quit. Some people give up. People don't understand. Like life is adversity. College is adversity. And I'm glad that I went through that adversity. Like I'm standing and Jason knows you're trying to register for your class and you sit in a gym for 8 hours trying to register. And you're like, man, why are we in this gym for 8 hours? Like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? That's still what makes somebody go postal nowadays, because these guys can register online and be done with it versus sitting in that doggone gym 8 hours trying to get your class scheduled. Then,
not even that. Let's talk about the refund check. I said these kids will never know.
Oh my God.
They'll never know what it means to miss a class and stand in line for a refund check.
Oh my gosh. I would, you know what? I was just about to I'm about to switch gears to that refund. Sitting out, going into that and waiting on when, oh man, I need my refund check. My rent is due. What's up with my refund check? You know? And you sitting there waiting on that refund check to come like a crackhead. Man, you got your refund yet? But it's adversity, man. You know, being at KC taught me a lot about life, a lot about adversity, but a lot about love. You know what I'm saying? How I treat the janitor like I treat the president. That's what KC taught me, because everybody was important. You know what I'm saying? That dude used to clean the buildings was just as important to me as the president of the university. You know, because that everybody you felt appreciated, but you have to appreciate everybody for them to even do their job. And it helps you in life, and it helps when I talk to my young men, even my own son, I tell them the same thing. People do stuff for you because they like you, not because they're supposed to. Even if it's their job to do it, that don't mean they got to do it. So what is my job? They're going to do stuff for you because they like you, and they're going to like you because you're going to learn how to build relationships with people. And you build relationships with people, you'll never go hungry, you never have an issue, you never worry about the classes. I tell all my players that I was in class, I had a class I had no business being in. I didn't know the first thing about that because I go to class. But I sat in the front seat every day and I took notes and I did my absolute best, and I built a relationship with the professor. And when he came in, I asked him, how was his day? How was your weekend? Everything's going good for you? And he liked me. It was a statistics class. I can't even say it. Statistics.
Yeah.
I had multiple regression. Multiple regression kicked my butt, but I had that class in order to graduate. I was a business major. But I wasn't good at statistics, but I was good at understanding and building a relationship with people. I didn't know I was good at it, but I realized that. And this is the same stuff I teach my guys to this day. Build a relationship with that professor, and I guarantee they will not let you fail at HBCUs. They're not going to let you fail because you built a relationship with them. And at the same time, they're not going to give you anything either now. So I'm going to give you another example of KC. I had a professor named Dr. Ojuku. I came about 15 minutes late for his class one day. All right, he let me come into class, take off out, sat down, got ready. He stopped class in the middle of his lecture and he told me, get out. He was African. Get out, get the hell out of my class right now. Right now, Mr. Ace. That's what he called me, Mr. Ace. I'm like, oh, damn, Doc, you could have stopped me at the door. You didn't have to like let me sit down and take all my stuff out. You know what I'm saying? But I was embarrassed. But you know what I never did? I never, ever was late for his class ever again. Because I knew what he wanted. I knew that he wanted me to be a better version of myself. And I couldn't come in to somebody else's class 15 minutes late that don't look like me and they're going to respect me. I couldn't do that. And that's what he taught me. That's what all those professors poured into me. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same stuff that I try to pour into our young men. That same type of stuff that they poured in me. I couldn't have got that at the University of Tennessee. They wouldn't have gave a crap if I came in an hour late. Who cares? There's 200 people in that doggone class.
Right. You
like
just
the
a number
professor
to
I
them.
told you, Miss Gillespie, who taught that class, they would have been like, who cared? You know what I'm saying? But those people who went the extra mile for me, I just feel it was important for me to reciprocate that. I get a little choked up thinking about it, you know what I'm saying? Because I just felt that it was important to reciprocate that same love that I got. You know what I'm saying? The adversity that I got taught me to be a better person, but the love that I got taught me to be a better man.
Dig it. Yeah. So what's your fondest coaching memory?
Right.
Fondest coaching memory. Like games, like or championships, things like that nature, or just whatever you think about it, what memory do you have of coaching? Like what's like get you either really elated or get you really upset? Like what's the fondest memory? Well, fondest, what gets you really elated? Like what do you think about when you're coaching? I think about, and this is crazy, right? And it's really ain't got nothing to do with coaching. It's like when I talk to one of my former players and they tell me how much I've changed their life. You know what I'm saying? That gets me choked up. So I talked to one of my players and he was like, Coach, man, you saved my life. And I'm up there saying, I didn't understand what he meant by that.
Right.
He's like, man, you believe in me when nobody did. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's my memories right there. It's no game, no championship, no rings that I got that can beat that right there. Yeah. That right there is like amazing. You know, and it's not unsolicited. I didn't, just didn't ask them. They just told me these things. And I didn't know how much I poured into these guys until guys tell me years later, that how much I meant to them, or how much a part of their life that I was, or what I believed in. You know, like, I mean, if I'm talking about as recent as like guys who are still playing for me, or guys who played for me 20 years ago. I got a guy play for me 20 years ago tell me that, like, Coach, man, you saved my life, Coach. You know, I like, man, like, really? What I do? You know what I'm saying? He said, Coach, man, you believed in me when nobody else believed in me. Coach, you gave a kid from Detroit an opportunity, Coach, that nobody did. Nobody believed I could do it. And you did it. And I was able to get my degree, and I got my family, and I'm coaching now myself, and I'm doing this, and I'm trying to be the coach you are. I'm like, man, to me, that's my championship right there. That's my ring. That's my Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? That's me. You know what I'm saying? So, or when I look across the field, and we played 5 SWAC games this year. When I'm looking across that field, and it's 5 guys at 5 different universities that I coached, I recruited and coached them in college. And I'm looking like, damn, one of them is a head coach in the SWAC. And I'm like, damn, this is my dude. I recruited him. He played for me. I gave him his first, he GA'd for me. I gave him his first full-time job. You know what I'm saying? I helped to get his first coordinator position. And now he's a head football coach in the same conference. And even though I lost my first time ever losing to him, I wasn't happy, but I was happy for him. And I went over and I cried, and he was crying, and we were both crying like, damn. And people looking at us like, what the hell going on? Because he said, Coach, man, I remember, Coach, when you gave me the opportunity. And now look at this. You know what I'm saying? I'm hugging him at the game, man. I'm proud of you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud. I hate that we lost, but I'm proud of you.
I was saying, at the end of the day, you still lost, though. No joking. I was just joking.
You know, but I won a lot more than I lost. I want you to understand that. Hold on. I won a lot more than I lost.
That's true.
Especially against Central. No, just
no, it's fine. Let me tell you, Coach Sims gave me the business last week with it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. He said that y'all won't ever come back for a homecoming. Y'all probably yeah. No, it's all right.
You gotta answer the phone when I call him too, man.
Yeah. Oh, he might answer the phone. You just gotta, keep calling him back to back.
Man, I'm trying to send him players. He won't answer the phone, man.
He might think it's an emergency. Call him back to back. But that answers like some of the things. But if you want like a specific game, I can give you a game. You want a game that was like amazing or was devastating?
Yes.
Give me the devastating game.
Yeah.
The most devastating loss I ever had was when I was at the defensive coordinator at Jackson State, and we lost the SWAC championship in overtime to Arkansas Pine Bluff. We lost. We had them beat. It was we were up by 7 points. They were on the 1 yard line, and all we had to do was just stop them. They stopped the first down. We stopped them second down. It's third down, and my first instinct was to blitz them because they couldn't pick up the blitz all day long. And if we would have blitzed them, we would have sacked them, we got the safety, game would have been over, we would have won the championship. I did not go with my first mind. I listened to everybody else but my instinct. And I always regretted that. And I said to myself, that was gonna never, ever, ever happen again. I'm going out. I just can't do it. Now, I'm not saying I don't want to listen to other people, because as a coordinator, you want to listen to other people. You want the input. But when my gut, I had to go on my gut. My gut told me to go after him. Everybody else told me not to. And we got beat for a touchdown. And we end up going to, they tied the game and we ended up going to overtime. We lost to overtime, but we never, ever got the momentum back. It was like for me as a coach, I never recovered from that moment. And I'm like, it was devastating to me. And we lost. I cried like a newborn baby. Like, damn, I should have went with my gut. Because if we would have lost and let's say I would have blitzed him and he would have got the ball off and he would have scored a touchdown, I guarantee I would have felt a lot more. I would have hurt, but I would have felt better because I did it what I thought was best.
Right.
At the time, what my instinct told me. And I didn't listen to my instinct.
Right.
That was devastating.
So
my best times, I'm gonna give you 2 of them. One was North Carolina Central, the Hail Mary McLeod Bethune. So I'm gonna give you the scenario. Now it's always at Central because it was always a great game. This is the 1 year when we stopped them on the goal line, we blocked the field goal to win it. And then was other time but this one was the Hail Mary. So the Hail Mary against North Carolina Central. You was there, Jason.
I was.
I was there too.
Oh, okay. So you guys had just come down and scored. And I was sick to my stomach because they had scored. It was a tough game, but you got scored. It was like, it was just a few seconds left on the clock, and the quarterback threw a pass in the back of the end zone.
Yep.
And one of my guys just dropped coverage and gave up that touchdown. Right. And I'm down on my knees, and I'm like, oh Lord, you know what I'm saying? I'm hurt because I'm like, man, I've been praying and I've been fasting, and I'm like, man, Lord, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, how we lose this? But we hadn't lost yet. It still was time left. So I had to reinvent my own lesson. I had to reinvent my own lesson of standing by my faith. So that to me, it was a testament of my faith. So my faith was shook because it didn't go my way. But I didn't realize that I had to continue to have faith no matter what.
Right.
No matter how much time was left, as long as I had faith that anything could happen. And it took one of the players, reminded me of that after he scored, he came and told me, he said, Coach, don't worry about it. We got this. The quarterback told me, Coach, I got you. We got you. He said, Coach, we got you, man. We got you. And then the guys telling him, don't give up. We got this. And I'm like, man, it took a young guy to get me to understand that I had to keep my faith in no matter what, that just because it didn't go my way, that I can't just lose my faith. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get a grip on it. Okay, okay, we good. We get the ball back because they got a penalty. So we ended up getting the ball back at the 50-yard line. We had a chance for 2 plays. We did 1 play, got maybe 5 to 10 yards, and 1 play left. Quarterback running around there with 1 second left on the clock. Ran to his right, ran to his left, threw the ball up, tipped in the air by one receiver, caught in the back of the end zone by the other receiver, Hill, Mary McLeod, Bethune. I broke down and started crying like a newborn baby. Like, man, I couldn't believe it. It was like amazing. That's like one of the most amazing games I've ever been in my life. And I say one of them because I've been in 2 of them like that, which is crazy. The second one was when I was at D coordinator at Jackson State. We were playing Southern University. They went down. It was back and forth. There was a shootout. We ain't stopped nobody. I was hoping they weren't gonna fire me after the game because we ain't stopped no dog about that.
They still scoring.
Still scoring. But this time I had the faith. So we scored and we stopped us. So we playing good defense. We trying to play tight defense. Guy cost a slant pass. We playing man under 2 deep. You're not supposed to score a touchdown on a slant and man under 2 deep. It's just It's not even supposed to be possible. Not at all. Beaver caught the ball, took the ball 70 yards for a touchdown. Everybody missed it because nobody could catch it. He was just that doggone fast. The head coach screaming, going off. Everybody screaming, going off. I took the headsets off because I didn't want to hear that crap. And I said to myself, I know if we got any time left on the clock, we're going to win this game. And I told everybody that. Calm y'all asses down. We're going to win it. You know what I'm saying? They like, dude, how do you know that? Because I know. So quarterback has 2 plays. First play, he threw the ball, got to the 50. All right. Second play, he's in the grass, meaning that they're about to sack him. He's falling down, and I'm thinking, oh, it's over. He throws the ball, falling down. Receiver that I recruited, catch the ball, broke a tackle, dives to the end zone with 12 seconds left on the clock. Wins the game. Amazing. Those 2 are probably the most amazing games I've ever seen, ever been a part of in my life.
So you think that's better than the when we played Bethune in the Gator Bowl?
That was different because that was as a player.
Oh, okay.
When I was a player, that was different because we said the same thing. Remember, Dre said, hey, man, what's up? Dre said, no problem. I got this. Yeah. And he marched that ball down the field and we won that doggone game. And we weren't supposed to win. Not at all. Not at all. You know, or when I was at Lane and we played Arkansas Pine Bluff for their homecoming, and we had no business playing Arkansas Pine Bluff at Lane College. You know, they were Division I, we were Division II. They had all these players, and we blocked 2 kicks, ran a kick back. I mean, we ended up beating them. Right. And, you know, on their homecoming in front of mama and daddy and them, and it was amazing. Yeah. And the crazy part about that game is that in D2, anything that could go wrong can go wrong at times. So we had 2 buses going down to that game because we didn't leave and stay in hotels when I was at D2. We used to leave the day before the game. That's a 6-hour drive. So you had to leave the day of the game in order to get there and get off the bus and play.
Right.
We had an offense bus and a defensive bus. Defensive bus went first. I'm the head coach, so I'm on the defensive bus. We go first. I didn't realize that the offensive bus has broke down. We get to the stadium. We turn around. Where's the offensive bus? On the side of the highway. We getting ready to warm up with no offense. So we got our defense practicing offensive play. I can't even make this up. This is like crazy. We got our defense practicing offensive plays because we don't have an offense here because the bus broke down. We waiting on another bus to come get them to bring them to the game. And we're going to have to start this game with our defense playing offense. Never in the history of life can anybody imagine anything like that.
Not at that level. That happens in Pop Warner when they play both sides of the ball.
Yeah, D2 football, no. But the good thing about it is that we end up winning that game. I think what happened is that we threw Pine Bluff because they was big, they was swag, they were bigger than us, they was stronger than us. But because they saw that we had 14 people out there and warming up, they in their mind, they just thought it was just so ridiculous that they were just gonna beat us by 100 points. And we jumped on them, stayed on them, and they never ever recovered. And we ended up winning the game. And I always thought they played down. We took advantage of it. We caught them off guard, and we beat them by like two, 3 touchdowns.
Caught them slipping and got up out of there.
Huh?
Caught them slipping and got up out of there.
That part.
Yeah, yeah. So man, look, if you weren't coaching, man, what would you be doing? I know the answer to this one too. Go ahead.
If I wasn't coaching, what would I be doing? That's a good question. You talking about if I would never coached in the beginning or
you didn't coach, man, what would you be doing?
You know, it's crazy though. So I actually got hired as I got hired at the police department in Knoxville.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went through. I took the test. I got hired but I never did it because I didn't start coaching. I just wanted to do coaching.
Right.
So I could have probably by now. I thought I probably would have been a federal agent. Yeah, we got one of our frat brothers that's a federal agent. He's like a supervisory special agent at this point. And I always thought that by this time I probably would have been the same as him. You know, a supervisory special agent, federal, something like that. I don't know. That's the only thing I could have thought I was doing, or teacher or something. Maybe teaching, or because the social field I did, but it just wasn't enough to pay the bills. But teaching, or working, working with the federal agency would have been, something would have been more exciting and something that kind of kept me going a little bit, and the pay wasn't bad either. But other than that, I think that probably would have been one of those two things.
So man, like you say you're from Cleveland, man, but
born and raised.
You didn't graduate high school in Cleveland, homie.
I did not.
Yeah, tell us.
Okay, so I ended up finishing high school in Atlanta, Georgia.
It's the leading questions for me that is funny.
So here's the problem. I know him. So he was my roommate. So this is I'm gonna tell this story. So after we crossed, Hayes stayed in another dorm, and he was always in my room. And then my roommate, he left and went back home, and he didn't come back. So the next semester, Hayes came in, was my roommate. So we've been roommates since 1993. So when I say I know him, like I know a lot about him. Like if you leave your clothes out, you're gonna wear them.
Facts.
Yeah.
If I can fit them, I'm wearing them.
Yeah. And we were about the same size in college, so we wear each other clothes. But yeah. So I know a lot about him, and so I asked him these questions because I want people to know, you gotta to know Hayes, to know Darrin Hayes, man. You gotta know, like back in the day, if you were going out of town, don't take Hayes with you as your navigator because he's gonna fall asleep.
True. Hey, I was driving last night. Me, my sister, my wife, and her boyfriend. We was driving to like 30 minutes away, and I started getting sleep. I like somebody got to take over.
yeah. That joke that 30 minutes or less, but that's all he got.
They mad because they like, damn, we can't even drink.
Nope.
So nah, we all gonna be in this bug sleep.
Yeah.
30 minutes and you couldn't handle that?
I was tired. I get up at 4 o'clock every morning, and that was late at night.
Yeah, my daughter.
But that time, it had worn on me.
Yeah, my daughter's not driving far.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we would go on road trips and stuff. He'd be in the back.
Yeah, he's not the co-pilot you want.
He is not the driver. No.
Or the co-pilot. He's
No.
not the one helping you either.
No, he's not.
Because his job is important. That's who gives you the snacks, make sure that the music good, all of that.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
That's
I
not
can do
important
that
job.
part.
No.
I can do that part. I did that.
Yeah,
It's just that, I'm gonna go to sleep at some point.
yeah, he is. That joker gonna knock right out on you too. Yeah. It's my dude though, man. My guy. It's my guy.
Okay, so what happened that you ended up finishing high school in Georgia?
Well, I was, like I said, in Cleveland, Ohio. So I came down to Atlanta my 10th grade year, and I ended up finishing high school down there. I wasn't a bad guy in growing up in Cleveland, but I grew up in a rough inner city area, and I just needed a change of scenery because it was bad growing up in Cleveland, especially back then. Back in the 80s, it was like really, really bad. So, cats were getting killed. It was just a lot going on. And my mom just thought that, hey man, you need to change the scenery. You got to get out of here before either you get killed or you kill somebody or something gonna happen bad. So we need to get you up out of here. We're gonna send you down south because everybody refer to anything that's not up north down south. We don't care where you at down south. All that's one place, down south. Where you going, man? I'm about to go down south. We're not telling you specifically where you're going because all of us together down south.
Down south.
So I went down south and I stayed down south. I loved it. It was a great change. I didn't like it at first because I was an outcast. I was like, I wore Timberland boots and jeans and Carhartts and stuff that cats in the South never wore. They never wore Timberlands or Carhartts or stuff like that. And then I always felt like an outcast, like I just didn't belong because most of those cats went to junior high together, or they call it middle school down south, but middle school together, and they all kind of knew each other. I didn't know anybody. I was just, only thing I could do was I could play football because I was aggressive and I liked knocking the piss out of people. So that's one thing that kind of was my little thing that I enjoyed doing. But other than that, I didn't really have a lot of friends. Didn't do a lot of things. Just kind of stayed to myself. Was more in a shell until I got to college. It kind of broke out my shell in college. It kind of really came into my own.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
People who knew me from high school was quiet. People knew me from college, like, quiet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what? D. Hayes? Quiet? Nah,
Yeah, Hayes is not a quiet guy. He's quiet in settings if he doesn't know everybody in that environment. But he's gonna walk in and somebody's either gonna know him or they're gonna get to know him. One of the two. Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. So look, man, we always ask our let me ask this question. Because Michael, you didn't ask this question. Like, you went to Knoxville College, man. Like, was that your first choice of school, or how did you get to Knoxville College? See, Michael, you slipping, man. I gotta ask the question.
I think I asked that question last time.
I thought Michael asked that question.
Nah, that was Sharice. Man.
My bad, Sharice. Sharice, you slipping. I'm asking your questions.
You are.
My bad. You want to ask it so you can?
So, Coach Hayes, of all the schools in the continental U.S., what made you choose Knoxville College? Because I didn't hear about the school until I met Jay Red. I didn't even know Knoxville College existed.
Well, KC kind of chose me. I really think that it's not a lot of people that actually choose KC. KC is like one of those schools that God sent to you. All right, this is what you need right here, partner. Now, I was great academically. I could have went anywhere. Football-wise, I could have played a lot of different places. And I had an opportunity to go a lot of different places. But I ended up getting hurt my senior year. I finished my year, but right after that, I got hurt. And when I got hurt, scholarships get off the table because you can't go on no doggone recruiting visit with a sling. Cause that ain't the groove. Coaches look at, because we had a guy came to us with a sling. Coach was like, nah, dog, we can't take that goods. You can't come in here broke up.
Yeah.
So coaches they're gonna pull scholarships off the table. And I had an opportunity to go to Albany. I had an opportunity to go some other places. But I went to KC because I had some guys that from my high school that went, and the head coach knew the head coach of KC very well. And he told me, hey, take a chance on this guy. Yeah, he's hurt, but he was a great football player for me. He did great for me in school. He'd do great for you. just take a chance on me. And he took a chance on me, gave me opportunity, and I gotta say, I always appreciate that. I always appreciate the head coach reaching out and being able to reach out and tell some coaches to take a chance on somebody, because it's tough. If you even though no matter what your film look like, you might have great film, but if you in a sling or something is, you got some type of injury, they think there may be a reoccurring injury. They don't know, how serious it's going to be. They don't know if you're ever going to play again. It's a lot of gambles that most college coaches aren't willing to take. And Casey took a gamble on me, and I appreciated that.
So I'm gonna ask this last question, then we're gonna wrap it up. So when you I think your freshman year, man, you played against Shannon Sharp, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. How was it?
He talked a lot of trash.
Yeah, don't tell the whole story. Just how was playing against him? How was he as a receiver?
He was the best receiver I ever seen in my life, and he didn't look like a receiver, like an offensive lineman.
He was big.
I mean, he's big, man. He was like 6'3", 6'4", 240, 250 as wide receiver. He didn't play tight end until he got to the league. He played wide receiver. People don't understand it. He played wide receiver in college, and he talked a lot of trash. He'd be out there on the receiver. Hey, man, your mama know you out here? He's like, hey, little man, this is gonna be a long day for you. and never, when I say never stop talking, but he's one of the best guys that I ever had an opportunity to play against, and he was tremendous.
Yeah. Did you? So let me ask you a question, man. I said it was the last one, but I lied. 10 out of 10. If you had to pick two corners, any decade, no matter what it is, give me two corners that you would put in your secondary that you would start hands down.
Two corners, any decade?
Any decade. You can go back as far as you can remember.
Deion Sanders and Lester Hayes, done deal.
And those are your two corners.
Deion Sanders and Lester Hayes, the one that invented bumper run, that guy.
Okay.
The one that invented bumper run, Lester Hayes, baby.
Okay, right. That's your cousin.
It's my uncle.
Yeah. So who would you put on the number one receiver?
Depends. If he was a dude that's physical, you put a physical guy on him. If he was the finesse guy, you put Deion.
All right. Give me your two safeties.
Safeties? Good one. My two safety, I would have to say Ronnie Lott.
I can dig that one.
Steve Atwater.
Oh, boy. That's a good one.
Atwater and Lott, baby.
That's a good one.
Yeah, both of them will kill you. Ronnie Lott said he hit his mama. She's out there on that field because she ain't got no business being out there.
Hey.
That's a hell of a secondary right there, buddy.
Oh, man.
That's the type of guy I want right there. He said he'd knock his mama out.
Yeah. That's a tough secondary, buddy. That's a bad secondary. That's a tough secondary name. Yeah. All right. Well, look, man. Very entertaining. Look, man, I really appreciate you coming on. I know you was really geeked about being on here, man. I thank you for coming on, giving us the in and out of Darrin Hayes.
We won't leave you out next time. We apologize.
I appreciate it. Anytime I come back, anytime you need, champ.
So, man, who you got in the Super Bowl?
You know
said the Bengals.
The Bengals, baby. Ohio. What's up? Come on.
Okay.
Crib. Stand up. The crib.
So let me ask you a question. Who has a better defensive line, the Rams or the Bengals?
Rams.
Who has a better secondary?
Rams.
Who has a better linebacking core?
Rams.
So, in the words of our chapter brother Ronald Haygood, he said, "It sounds like to me, the Rams are going to win that game."
That's what it sounds like, but you
Jason,
can't.
did you make your bet last week?
But you can't. It's stuff that's not on paper that you can't. What's the name? It's some things that's not on paper. Like you can't measure the heart of a man. You know what I'm saying? Who would have thought that Patrick Mahomes would be not sitting at home watching the damn Super Bowl? I bet he didn't think that.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Who would Aaron Rodgers didn't think that. Aaron Rodgers thought he was gonna be in the Super Bowl too, didn't he?
I got you.
Hold on. You got the GOAT sitting at home. I bet they made the GOAT retire. Tom Brady. Yep. There's nowhere in the world you're gonna tell me that the GOAT didn't think he was gonna be in the Super Bowl, right?
I agree.
So
yeah,
the one thing that you can't measure is the immeasurable, because all that stuff sounds great on paper. Yes, this team is better on paper, but that don't mean nothing until they line up.
I agree. I agree with you. Because when I bet your head coach, he's gonna pay my money.
Who do you pick? Who you pick?
He picked the Rams. I picked the Bengals.
My man.
No. I'm not a Bengals fan at all. I don't think y'all got a snowball's chance in hell to win. Personally.
Why would you pick them there, Chad? You just want to throw money away?
No, I mean, but I believe in Joe Burrow. I think Joe.
Oh my gosh, Jason.
No, I don't think that was snowball chance in hell to win. Not at all.
Smoking Joe, baby.
But I think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, that combination right there. Plus, you add in Higgins and the other. I can't think of the other receivers' names. And the running game that they have. It's going to be hard to stop that team because there are too many weapons on their offense. Now their defense, tissue paper soft. May not stop nobody, but as long as they keep scoring, eventually
it's gonna be a shootout. It's gonna be a shootout.
Stafford gonna throw an interception. Let's call a spade a spade.
The problem is that offensive line they're gonna catch hell trying to block Aaron Darnell.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard to block him with a bulldozer.
Yeah. I mean, you got the defense. So that I think if they get hot, if they keep scoring, if they can score, and they wait for that Stafford interception, hey man, it could be a ball game.
Cause he's gonna throw one.
He's gonna throw two. Watch, he's gonna throw
Facts.
two. Yeah,
Facts.
Yeah. So look, man, we ask our guests every week to give us a word of encouragement for the fans and the YouTube watchers. So give the people a little something to hang their hat on for this week.
Word of encouragement.
Yeah.
Lord is my light and my salvation. Who shall I fear? Lord, the strength of my life. Who shall I be afraid of? Enemies try to harm me. They stumble and fail. Psalm 27 Psalms. I say that before every football game. And I say the prayer, which is our prayer, and then I recite the creed, which is I do actually before the prayer. And the creed goes like this. Today is the beginning of a new day. God has given this day to do his will. We can waste it or we can use it for good. For what we choose to do today is important. Is what we exchange the days of our life for. Because we want to be good, not bad, gain, not loss, success, not failure, so that we never, ever, ever regret the price we paid for it. Today is the beginning of a new day.
Today's the beginning of a new day.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I tried to learn it with my guys. I could never learn it. I was like, whatever.
What they say?
Yeah, what he said.
What you say?
Yeah, play the video. Play the video, coach.
Right. Hit play. Listen to that.
But it's a very passionate. When he does, it's very passionate, man. And your guys, they respond well. So look.
Oh, you got my video of doing it?
Yeah. I've been watching it. Not at all. No. I watched it, and I watched it. I tried to show my guys. I tried to learn it, to recite it, but I could never, I don't know.
Tell me, dog, I could just write it down for you, bro.
And I'm gonna be sitting there reading a piece of paper?
No, I'll write it down for you. You learn it.
Bro, this brain got 50 plus years.
I must say, Jason doesn't have room for that in his
Nothing
head.
at all.
There's a lot going on there.
His brain is full, buddy. Yeah, it's full in here. Ain't no room in the end, buddy. So again, man, I want to say thank you for coming on. Thank you for beating me up, for not having you on, to get you on. I really appreciate you coming in and blessing the stage with what you do. I wish you nothing but success going forward.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, man. Definitely.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Michael's gonna take us out of here with a good intro, with a good exit. It's on you, brother.
All right.
All right. Well, if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, and continue to follow us on this journey. If you've been rocking with us thus far, please keep on keeping on, because we have a lot more amazing episodes to come. We are DTR Incorporated, a nonprofit organization geared toward uplifting, inspiring, and empowering communities all over the world. I'd like to thank my two amazing co-hosts, Mr. Jason Redmond and Ms. Sharice Lovett.
Thank you
again. It's always a pleasure. And I'd like to thank our amazing guest, Darrin Hayes, for blessing the mic and hopping on the show and just sharing his experiences and his success. And I wish you continued success on your journey. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us tonight. And remember, our goal is not to be better than anybody, but together we can achieve better for everybody. Thank you and have a good night. Peace.
Night.
We're going to try to segue all those things into that regarding
In
the
school, you know, they knew what fraternities you were in. I mean,
Definitely wasn't an easy decision. You know, I sat down with my dad